Blakey and Tux, they're talking Cardiff City and some other stuff. Blakey and Tux, Dolly asks the questions on Blakey's Bootroom. Will always be blue.
Hello, welcome to Blakey's Bootroom. I'm Gareth Rogers. With me once again, Nathan Blake, Steve Tucker. We're talking Cardiff City and we're talking a 0-0 draw. Yet another one.
Amazing.
Steve, you were there at Ipswich.
I was.
Give us a quick précis of what you saw.
It was definitely worth that 9-hour round trip drive to get to Portman Road. And well, it's hard to know what to say. I mean, I remember when I was young, Cardiff City scoring a goal. A long time ago.
Most
back in the I think Blakey got one of the last ones that they did. No, I mean it's hours upon hours now. It's. The problem you've got, and you said the problem, it's 7 odd. I mean, they've got the clean sheet, but when it comes to goals going forward, it's like you said in the column, Blakey, and I thought I made it the point myself. It's not as if they're creating hatfuls of chances in these games. Like their keepers, pushing it around the post or they're hitting the bar, and you're like, oh, and they're coming up saying, oh, God, we should. They're creating maybe one chance a game. Again, it fell to Amiobi, who looked by far from convincing, and I don't just mean on that attempt, I mean the whole game he looked a bit like he could have been off playing Scrabble somewhere or some alternative kind of thing. And just quite frankly, just not good enough with the people they've got in there going forward, creating chances, putting under pressure. Again, and this is the thing about this.
He's sitting up. He's sitting up.
He's sitting up. I'm like a meerkat hearing a
Alexander.
Hearing a lion come.
Oh, you were going to make a really good point there.
Sorry. No, I'm just going to say the point. Oh, hang on. What was I? Hang on. You put me off now. What I was going to say was the thing with these clean sheets as well. They're coming off the back of David Marshall pulling off worldies as well. They're not like solidly not. Again, I mean, how Daryl Murphy. He's not scored a goal this year. He cannot come closer. Literally, this bullet header, Marshall just somehow got around it, pushes it onto the post, and it bounces off. I mean, Murphy was just like, well, maybe I'm not going to score all season when I look at that happening. An own goal almost from Sean Morrison, as there was just bedlam in the box. He took a swing at it. Somehow Marshall kept that out. You probably so unsatisfactory.
You probably answered my question, but can you take any positives out of this? Come on, they don't concede
Marshall
goals.
Is great.
It's a good point on the road. Anything like that?
I think that's a general statement you're making there, guys. That's not.
I'm just trying to be positive before the comments start coming in.
I think I listened to it on radio. Ipswich a long way to go, and I had work as well. But I got then the down low off Tux as well. And you read around, different organisations and their press releases and what have you, and it was just pretty
seems like there's not a lot
average, isn't it?
It is
average, what I mean? And even I think the away attendance has started to drop as well.
222.
Well,
it is.
Like I said a couple of weeks ago, a friend of mine, his name's Malcolm Ewers, old geezer. He's about 90. He travels away, and he's saying to me, we can't sell the tickets for the bus.
That's 4 buses worth, isn't it?
You know what I mean? And that's.
It would take more now.
Well, the away support is like they're the main. They're the nutcases. They always travel wherever it is. You know what I mean? And they what
they go for the trip, go for the day out.
Give you that that 12th man feeling,
on a Saturday, 222. Good effort to the 222 that went, by the way.
Hey, listen. It's like wading through treacle at the moment. And, football's a game of cycles. It goes through ups and downs. But, I was expecting the positive is you focus on it's a point.
Yeah.
But you can't, if you analyse the game, then you can only be critical, really and truly.
Yeah,
and
just trying to see
Marshall,
within context as well. If they're coming off the back of a home win or something like that, and you go to Ipswich and they get a 0-0, the most boring game.
Then you say, fair enough.
Good point. That's it. On we go. But it's just in the context of the recent results and
like we said a couple of weeks ago, like Moore coming in for the big man in goal for Marshall. Listen, when he got sent off, people were kicking off a bit. Is he bothered? Is this? Listen, like I said then, if he wanted to leave, he could quite easily force a move, but he will save you, 10, 12, maybe 15 points a season. I think he's proved that over the last 2 or 3 games.
Yeah, well, the last 2 games,
how valuable he is to the team. Now, my point is, Moore is nowhere near in the same category as the big man. So what you got to think is, if he was in goal now and he's conceded a few and they've lost a few games, imagine where the confidence of the team is going to be.
Yeah.
Because, I don't understand at the moment. They don't seem to be devoid of confidence, but at the same time, I think do you know when you're just waiting for something to happen?
Yeah.
It's either going to go incredibly great or incredibly bad, but this, not knowing
confident
almost,
teams don't play like Cardiff.
Well, yeah, exactly, but they got no reason to be, unless you're getting beat, but picking up a point, if you know what I mean. Performance-wise, you're getting beat, but you're coming away with a point.
Yeah,
and I think the manager is focusing on the clean sheets, and it's another point. But clearly, the team performance isn't saying we're gaining more confidence week in, week out. It's actually, you're thinking to yourself, if they get a beating somewhere, this could go incredibly pear-shaped quickly.
Yeah. Well, if you want an idea of what the fans are saying, Carl Stein,
get them on.
How can anyone be happy with a 0-0 draw at Ipswich? They were there for the taking. They were on a poor run. We got outplayed at home by Bristol City, and then they go and lose 4-0 at home. The warning signals are there, he says, and that's quite damning. But it's true, isn't it? I mean, I want to quickly move on to what you said last week about fitness, and I think that was really. I didn't pick up on it at the time, particularly.
Yeah,
it's become a bit of an issue.
Oh, have I touched the nerve?
I think you might have touched the nerve. I mean, Tex can tell us why. Were you there when Slade was asked about this, Steve?
Yeah. He said I was that. I asked him because he said to me, "What did you write this story about?"
Well, it was okay. It was okay. It was okay to write the story prior to him coming in, and they saying he was unfit. But now under him, and I'm not. If you listen to what I said, I didn't say they're unfit. I said they're not fit. Right. There is a difference.
No, I'm not. I agree with you in many ways. No, I'm just saying what was said to me, which was it didn't this thing about. I don't think they're very happy with suggestions that they're.
I told you they wouldn't
unfit.
be happy. I looked right at the camera and said, the boys ain't going to thank me for this. They're going to hate me for it, but they're not fit enough to win the league.
For those of us who were sort of like stupid or whatever, what are the signs to you, and this is going to sound like, of this, what is the manifestation of this not fit enoughness? Just results, or
no, the way they play.
Yeah,
the way they play. They think. How long have they been? How long have been saying Cardiff starts slow?
Particularly away, wasn't it? Yeah.
Right. So we've been saying it a long time.
Yep.
Right. Do Cardiff play a high pressing game at any point? Way, home?
No. You said last week they go deeper and deeper.
That's just to come off the point of it, that's one of the things that bugs me, is they do not have any period of sustained pressure.
And this is what Blakey is what you're saying, isn't it?
Isn't this
part of your explanation?
This is what I'm trying to say.
This is what you get at.
Yeah, this is what I'm trying to say. It's not a, listen, Russell Slade, whoever, I'm not causing trouble. I'm trying to say to you, listen, I played the game. I've got 4 of them titles in my back garden. Thank you very much. Yeah, so I know what I'm talking about when it comes to the championship, right? They are not playing a pressing game. They're not playing a counter-attacking game. They're not playing anything. Or what they're doing at the moment is sitting in a position where we're not going to get beat. Yeah, and hopefully nick a goal on a set piece. Well, the set pieces have dried up. And early on in the season, that was where most of our goals were coming from.
Whittingham, Morrison.
Right. So the set pieces now dried up. So now you're looking at general play. And general play, if anyone says to me, no, I didn't say they're not fit. I said they're not fit enough to win the championship.
Yep.
You've got to be incredibly fit to win the championship because you've got to play Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday a lot. And now the FA Cup's going to start coming into play. That's going. If they have a run on that, that's more games again. So the difference between being fit enough to go throughout the season and fit enough to win the league, because like I said, I made the point, under Marky Mackay, we didn't have the most talented squad in the league, but we had the fittest team in the league. I kid you not. Because what they could do was run people into the ground and pick up a lot of their points last 10, 15 minutes of the game. You don't see Cardiff coming on strong in the last third of the game. You don't see them starting well at the high tempo, and you don't in, you know, between 30 and 60 minutes think, right, they're on top, they're steamrolling, the momentum's go. They're not. Like I said, the starting positions I think are wrong often, which is why they can't put pressure on the ball. But it's clear as day to me. If you don't do any of those things which are needed, you need to play a high pressing game at some point, or be a counter-attacking team at some point. But you need to press the game, and if you can't play at the tempo, a high tempo or a higher tempo than what we've been playing for quite a while now, it means it's not in your legs.
Yeah,
it's as simple as that.
Didn't he say, Tux, that in his compared to his stats, they were the eighth fittest team in the league or something like that?
Well, we can use stats for.
This is Prozone, man.
We can use stats for or against.
Yep.
Right? There were stats the other day where I can't remember what game, but a team won, but the stats were totally against them.
You can't lie about the fittest teams, can you?
No,
covering ground and.
I mean, my
and
point would be, if they're the eighth fittest team, then that's not good enough. Because fitness is something you can control.
Exactly.
As a manager.
Exactly.
Am I being unreasonable?
Guys, you're going to be on the list next. You're going to be Russell Slade's going to go, who said that about us?
I don't understand. Like saying
as if that's a triumph. That's what got me.
I think his point was, I don't want to be defending him, but they were bottom when he arrived. So to take them to eighth, I suppose. Yeah, you're not going to go from the most unfit, most terribly unfit side to the top. I think maybe he's saying to take them to eighth. To take them to eighth is a good return.
Return on what?
It's a work on
I don't get what you're on about.
I think that's exactly.
He's been here over a year. You had pre-season.
That's exactly what Pellegrini did at Tottenham. Was exactly that, took him from the bottom to the top.
Yeah.
In a similar sort of time.
Yeah.
Similar sort of time.
They're fit enough to be eighth, so they're ninth. They're underachieving.
Well, come on. Doesn't that say that's where they're at? That's why you say all the time that they're about eighth. They are about
that in the first column. Yeah. Of the season.
I did, mate. I'm sorry.
And I suppose
the worst thing is I can't stand the idea of him being right. Can you imagine what it's going to be like? It's going to be. I told you.
Would Russell?
Hey, I was just joking.
Would Russell Slade consider eighth a success? Then do you reckon?
Probably.
Yeah.
In his mind,
maybe.
Probably on the back of last year.
Would the fans consider?
The fans just listen. At the moment, mate, it's hard. It's hard work.
It is hard work.
It's hard work. I don't care what anyone says. You criticise me, you can ban me from the club, you do what you like. It's hard work. And I don't pay, if you like. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And it's so frustrating. A guy stopped me the other day. I was in a tiles ahead in Cumbran, and the guy walked in. Listen. He said to me first thing he said to me was, how'd you put up with him? And I was like, how do you think? How'd you put up with him? Hey, I said, no, mate. I said, he's diamond. I said, he's diamond, really.
Don't ever go in that shop. I said, they don't deserve it.
No, it wasn't the owner.
Oh, it wasn't the owner?
No, it was the geezer coming in to buy with his missus.
I don't even like the customers in that tile shop.
He must have been maybe 60, mid-60s. And he's been going. He said he cut me on blue. He said, bro, I gave up my season ticket. I'm just sometimes I go and pay it on the day. He said, it's hard. It's hard, Nate. I said I find it really, really difficult to go and watch the games. And it is entertainment as well, whether you like it or not. People go, it's results driven.
Finishing eighth, come May or whatever it is. And you look back and say, oh God, remember that game when they lost, they won 4-2 and they lost, they lost 5-0 to Dart. Whatever. If it was a bit like that,
Yeah.
You might come out the other end and go, oh well,
yeah.
got my money's worth, entertainment value. But it's just like...
Well, even the game they won
last
month.
It's like a feature, it's like the tundra.
Even the one win they got last month against Middlesbrough was the same, a dreadful performance. And they sort of bundled it in the net in the last minute. And anyway, Chad wants to talk tactics. I think he's quite right. Another really interesting thing we spoke about last week. In some detail in the end.
I've got to say, last week's show was so much better than this.
If you're
getting bored now, just go and have a look at last week. No, this will be good.
And I sort of had loads of tweets about that sort of thing. This lopsided midfield. Just very quickly
Tell us about it,
very quickly explain what it is, and then more importantly, explain how he should change it starting tomorrow to sort it out.
Well, a lopsided midfield is where we play a 4-4-2, a traditional 4-4-2, and a lopsided midfield is where you put one of your wide men like more advanced than the other three. So rather than have the quartet across, one's and three across, and then the left-sided player will play more inside to give yourself that 3 balance. So
like a traditional 3 in a 4-3-3.
Yeah. But I always say that's somewhat in between.
You've got a winger that doesn't know whether he's
playing in a 4 or a 3, and I'd say like you're better off just playing either 2 wide men who can go up and down with 1 down the middle, or play 2 up front and 2 wide, or play 3 at the back, and there's several ways you can change it. What it says to me is you're caught in 2 minds.
I don't want to bore everyone with the details, but we were exchanging heat maps and graphics and all sorts at one point last week.
Right.
But anyway, moving away from that, what does he, with the personnel he's got, the players at his disposal, what does he change straight away to sort out this in-betweenness?
Well, I think with the personnel he's got, he needs to decide what shape, and I would say, you go with an A, B, and a possible C. You always have a C in your locker as well, through injuries and stuff like that. But his A is clear. Russell's A is clearly a 4-4-2. Yeah, but I think we've got the personnel to be able to adjust. Because I think modern day football, you come up against Bristol City, they're playing a 3 at the back. You've got to, you're at home and you're not playing in a way which is conducive to going out and just obliterating them. So you might have to, I'm not saying as the home team, if we're confident and flying, I expect them to adjust to us.
Yep.
But the reason why they didn't adjust to us, because they want to come and they think they're going to come and take all 3 points, because we're not in a good run of form. If you're at the top flying, trust me, people go, we got to go there, and 2 banks of 4, or 4, 5 across midfield and 1 up front. But it's not happening at the moment. Teams are coming, so you might have to adapt your tactics, and your setup to counter the opposition in order to get 3 points. You can't, in my opinion, I don't think in today's football, the way teams are playing, 4 and across the middle, 2 across the middle holding with 2 advanced, 4-4-2 diamond, 3 across the top, wing backs, 3 at the back, whatever. I don't think you can just say, I'm going to play a 4-4-2 and that's it.
No.
So when the lopsided midfield started coming out, that's telling me I need to change.
Yeah.
But I've not really got the confidence to go all out at this and change it the way it needs to be changed.
It strikes me he's got 4 wingers. He's got Noon, he's got Amiobi, he's got Pilkington, he's got Kennedy. He's only using
Raoul's playing out there as well.
Exactly, and he's got Raoul's playing out on
But the reason why you got the lopsided midfield, because really and truly, he doesn't want Raoul's or Whittingham as a winger. He wants him as a midfielder.
Give him that insurance,
right? Because and pushing him, because they've not got the pace to go past people. And predominantly, they prefer to be in the middle where they can get on the ball more. So if you're playing that way, that then says to me, Fabio should be getting in 6 crosses a half, at least 10 crosses a game. Fabio should be burning down, feeding him and getting. But when the fullback doesn't overlap, and you're playing as a left-sided inside midfielder, and the fullback doesn't. That's basically no crosses coming from that side. These are reasons why we're not producing, as he said at the beginning, chances. You're not producing chances.
It's almost like they're not trying to create.
Well, what they're doing is being safe.
Yeah.
Yeah? And that comes from the top.
Yeah.
Yeah? So they need to be, in my opinion, more expansive, more confident.
This is Slade's style, isn't it? We're seeing the style. Although the weird thing is, I'm sure this thing about lack of goals came up before. And didn't you say something like Orient were the top
stats we had the highest shots.
Were like the top scorers in the division behind Chelsea, or was that a dream I had? I'm sure at some point, maybe not during this goalless spell.
Did you fall off your bike one time? And
I don't know. I did fall off my bike, but no, I'm sure he said they were like his Orient side would scored a shed load of goals.
Attacked a lot, they were a different.
So
you're not comparing, but you're not comparing apples with apples there.
No.
You know, we're talking in the Championship. Russell's never managed in the Championship.
Yeah, but he's got Championship players here.
Yeah,
and
but
he's got
the step
League One players there. Surely there should be some correlation between the two.
there should be, but the step up from League One to Championship is massive.
Yeah, he hasn't brought the same set of players with him, though. These are Championship players, so they should be up to the task of performing at that level.
So what does he do? I mean, could he drop a striker out? Would that help? I mean, I know goals are the problem,
he could probably drop Lavelle and make no difference whatsoever, could he?
That's cool.
You could probably. Well, look, I mean, I don't know, but
listen,
I'm not sure.
All said and done, the boy works.
We're not here to pick on Alex
His
Lavelle.
dog's knackers off. Do you know what I mean? He does.
I know.
And
works.
It's not his fault.
I got nothing against Alex Lavelle.
No, I haven't.
And I think that, you know, he's not. It's not. It's fair because you're a player at the end of the day, and if you need to improve, you need to go away and improve. But at the moment, you know, in the system and how it's being played, it's just not attack.
I'm just saying, you come into a side as an attacker and they don't score for 7 hours coinciding with your arrival.
Yeah.
What conclusion are people meant to draw?
Absolutely. Well,
it's impossible not to.
We've spoken a lot recently and over the weekend as well. Kenwyne Jones, they need to get him fit, don't they?
But the problem I thought about Kenwyne Jones so much, not in any dodgy way. He followed me on Twitter, by the way.
Congratulations.
I woke up on a Monday morning, Kenwyne Jones is following me on Twitter. I came in and told Gaz, showing off, he said he's been following me for months, which really took the wind, you know, on a Monday. You know, you're feeling down already.
And he said it in a terrible touch. I hate to say this, but...
And then he said, and when he tweeted me the other day, that was this morning. It's actually a communication.
This morning.
I'm trying to show off. I'm just blown out the water.
I'm not sure we'll get him in trouble for it.
I'm blown out the water by Gaz, but so that was a bad start today. And he's been going downhill ever since. But that's it.
Let's talk about his football.
I'm starting to worry. I've thought about Kenwyne Jones more than like my mum recently. You know what I mean? I had more affection for him than like some girlfriends that I've had in the past.
You need him now, don't you?
I do. I'm attracted.
You need him now.
I almost want to enter into a relationship with him on some level. You know, put it this way: I'm ready. I'm ready for a commitment with Kenwyne Jones now. The time has come. The relationship is happening.
But your point is...
All right, my point is I'm a little bit worried now. I haven't gone through all the, we want him back. I'm a little bit worried. He's arriving back like the Messiah now, in a way, after this. I know he... But I'm a little bit worried there's too much emphasis going to be placed on him returning.
Do you know when you're struggling, that's what tells you every time, right? There's little intricacies that tell you a team is struggling, or the manager really thinks his team is struggling. Yeah. When what you can have always seems better.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, you know, we're not scoring goals, or we really miss Kenwyne.
Well, put it this way. That's true. We've been talking about Kenwyne more than the guys who are starting up front.
I guarantee you,
if we were asked about Joe Mason.
I guarantee if we were conceding goals, it would be Bruno Manga.
Yeah, sure.
Right? And that's kind of
talk about him as
kind of human nature. That's what you do. You search for the reason why. But I've said, Kenwyne wasn't treated as if he was the main man.
But he is now. He is now.
Oh, he is amongst us, but
exactly, it's a different thing in there because I don't listen.
Listen to the manager speak.
I don't think it should take you 3, 4, 5, 6 months to decipher who the best player, who the best partnership, because that was what Russell come in and said. Partnerships all over need to improve. Blah 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 blah. So I never understood how you were looking at Kenwyne Jones for at least the first 3, 4, well, to the end of the season really, because he went out on loan. I don't know. If that was a money thing, that's different.
That was
from
a
a
money
football,
thing. That was
from
a
a
money
football
thing.
perspective, I don't know how you don't. Even if it's a money thing, I
Still,
still
yeah,
don't say.
still,
You
he's a
still
star
say
player. He's a
he's my
star
number one player until he leaves. It doesn't matter.
If this guy doesn't, like
Right,
sending Marcel on loan now and saying, "Oh, well, we made
well,
a million
yeah,
quid out of it."
we might not. No, he's
way.
my star player until the owner says, "Right, we've sold
You're
it to
building for next
so-and-so."
season, wait.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know how much Kenwyn is valued or feels he's valued, and there is a difference for a striker that when your manager puts his arm around you and tells you how important you are, those things just boost confidence.
You were in with Slade after the game. I mean, he was asked about Kenwyn. Tux, what was his response
Reaction,
like?
yeah, come on, Tux.
Was he saying, "Oh, we need him. He's my main man"?
Well, he was saying, well, he wasn't going on. He wasn't.
I
going
think he
over
was
the
talking
top.
about Makeda as well, wasn't he?
He brought Makeda up. He keeps mentioning Sardi. Do you remember him? Right? Idris Sardi. He mentioned that he's back in training. So I don't know what this guy's going to. Kenwyn, he said, very, very hopeful of him travelling.
I got breaking Fabio news. News out for 4 to 6 weeks
That's a disappointment.
after a scan. Damaged ligaments in his right foot. So it's not as bad. It's not a
broken
bone
or whatever then.
That's good news,
Ligaments,
I think, isn't it?
nightmare.
That's a blow.
4 to 6 weeks. So let's go straight on to that. Let's discuss that. I mean, Fabio's
That's a blow
been the star man,
because
isn't he?
he's, as I said, he started the season. He couldn't get in the side, which was typical. Obviously, I think Fabio was regarded as a little bit of a sort of too cavalier, too much of a renegade for Slade, but he got his chance. Was it a suspension by Malone? I can't quite remember, but he got his chance.
Bugsy got injured, didn't he?
Was he injured? Was he? Yeah. Came in, grabbed it. I think there were about 3-4 games on the row. He was man of the match everywhere. Fans, press, fantastic live wire. Like I think Blakey said before, one of those guys whose energy feeds off to others. So a big blow, a really big blow. The only thing I'll say is in Malone, they have got cover.
A good cover.
Yeah, he's a good. I mean, to be honest, I mean Fabio's been getting all the players. There's not a massive difference between. You're not going, oh my God, Malone's. I think it's like. So I mean, the obvious problem there is if someone like Malone got. There is a bit even more cover.
He's got a great record on crosses, apparently, hasn't he? And
Who's this?
Malone. Malone's crossing stats are really good.
Yeah, when he can get forward, he can deliver a ball.
He doesn't need
QPR goal at QPR as well, which was fab. But again,
no, that was Malone.
We're talking about it was Malone.
Talking about Malone, yeah.
No, he said Fab.
Sorry, Malone's goal at QPR was a killer. Interestingly, we've been talking about Fabio, but also I suppose you could flip it and look at Malone now. I mean, he started the season. The gaffer's like, you're the guy. He goes out for a while, comes back, finds his routes blocked. Hopefully he'll be thinking right now, the 4 to 6 weeks, right? Yeah. This is my chance now. This is where I show what I can do. So this is when even when Fabio is fit or whatever, he doesn't come back in for me. So. That's what and anyway, that's what the squad's all about, isn't it? It's those little personal challenges and getting opportunities, unfortunately, often from other people's misfortune.
One thing they might miss with Fabio Blakey is his drive and his enthusiasm.
They'll definitely miss that. They haven't barely got any drive.
that's the one thing that worries me, isn't it?
I thought Joe Rowles came back and looked good, but
Kenwyn. Do we think he's going to come back, or
if I got no empiric evidence? I mean, I'm supposed to be talking to Slade.
What is his injury?
Shin. Not a broken bone.
I don't get it. It's like a bruise, badly bruised or something.
Like he was on crutches for a while.
So it's bone bruising then, or something serious like that.
Bruising,
where you put
soft tissue. Tough situ.
Tough situ muscle injury.
Tough situ.
Whoa. Tough tissue.
Shower, son. This is one of those moments where if this wasn't live, you'd sort of cut it and
edit it. Unfortunately, we can.
You know what? They like it because it's so unprofessional.
Yeah.
And I'm sticking to that story. I don't care even when I get letters saying we want it more professional. You pay for what you get. Rubbish. Nothing.
So Slade, I mean, I read more into this than you did, but Slade said if he follows his programme, then he might travel.
Well, yeah, we were talking about this earlier. He said something like, if his programme continues or is completed over this weekend, he will travel. Gaz seemed to think that was some kind of coded, like that.
What is that?
He was going to go off and lie in a hammock somewhere in the corner and not. I thought it meant he might break down again in training. I don't know. Maybe I'm not such a conspiracy theorist. He seemed to be.
Is it a bone injury or a muscle injury?
Well, soft tissue. Tough tissue.
What's soft tissue? That's muscle in. This is soft tissue.
Yeah, soft tissue.
I'd rather not talk about soft tissue too much. But a soft tissue injury. I think when you said severe bruising, that was probably quite close to the bone.
Yeah.
Pardon the pun.
So I'm trying to get in my mind whether. I mean, the fact is, all people care about is will he play against Leeds or not.
If he not, like the report always said, if he continues his progress over this weekend's training, he will travel. If I had to,
it's like you're talking in tongues. Russell must have been talking in tongues to you. You just repeated it.
I'm feeling a bit silly now.
Is he fit or not?
No, I don't know. No idea. No.
How long is his injury?
I'm not.
What is his injury?
Shin injury. I feel he might be on the bench.
And shin injury, as in a 4-week, 6-week, 8-week.
Well, he
did it
in the last international break, and he should be. And there's every likelihood he'll be back Tuesday. So not that long.
And he stayed in Trinidad for a while to recover, didn't he?
Mate, if I was in Trinidad, I'd stay in Trinidad.
Yeah.
I don't
okay, so the fact
you want to come back here?
I'd come back here training.
Come back here to the fall.
Well, if I was his manager, I would be saying, you get yourself back here so as we can have a look at you.
Well, that's another story.
That's another thing. So the other one that's got an injury problem is Dikashwi.
Yeah.
Dikachoy, whichever we prefer.
I thought he was missed. Definitely. I thought they looked a little bit even more lightweight in midfield, although I think a few people disagreed with me on that. I don't know.
Sounded like Gunnarsson was decent.
Yeah, Gunnarsson put in a real shift. I think he had to, So
three big hitters.
I'd say for him to come back after not being in the squad for so long and only playing under 21s games here and there, which aren't that competitive for a first team regular like
gave
himself.
Him 5, so I mean,
so he.
Yes.
He came across like he played a lot better on.
I don't know.
And the highlights, he seemed to be involved a lot. So,
well, I would be surprised if Dikashwi starts again.
I think
be on the spot. But again, I mean, I'm not got any empiric evidence on it. But I think Gunnarsson performing like that means there's no. If it's still 50-50, you think, well. Yeah, let's keep it as it is.
Blakey said yourself that Gunnarsson needs a run. You need to win a game.
You don't need to bring him back in. So.
Yeah, so that seemed quite like.
We've got that Leeds record we were looking.
Oh yeah, well, let's talk about Leeds. We haven't even mentioned Leeds. Yeah, I mean, first of all,
what a club!
You throw the record out there, Texas.
I was amazed. I mean, I know lots of fans know. Do you know the Leeds record? The last 4 games in the Championship, Cardiff have won them all. 4 on the bounce. Ellen Road, Cardiff. The last 8 of 10 meetings. Cardiff have won. And when do you think? This question for you. Don't look too excited.
It's like
man.
Gascoigne.
Good game.
We forgot to talk 2 minutes ago.
When did Leeds, in all competitions, last beat Cardiff City?
Not got a clue.
You can't go on a quiz and just go, not got a clue. You'd be rubbish on tipping points.
Blakey's Bootroom.
It's Blakey's Bootroom. Okay, I just want to get to the end of it so we can move on to talk about the
you,
team.
I suppose.
Let's talk about the team. People that don't care about the tipping point. What are you on about?
I've never seen tipping point. That's so.
Right, let's just cut it.
1985.
I'm not interested. When was the last time?
February 84.
Great.
Right.
Move on.
Brilliant.
Well, that was a good time for me.
So obviously, get yourself down the bookies and get a 10 on a Leeds win.
The problem is, I suppose, that run has to come to an end at some point. Indeed. But the history bodes well anyway.
So does the present, because Leeds are in an absolute mess. Yeah. I don't know if either you saw them on Thursday night. Oh my word.
Sad to see, man. Sad to see.
6 minutes,
sad to see, big institution football clubs of our country in such turmoil. It is. It's sad to see. I don't take any pleasure in it. You know what I mean? I know there's a big rivalry between Cardiff and Leeds. Listen, I played for Leeds, albeit it was about a month. Don't rip my hamstring there, but I'm telling you, it is a fantastic club. And you want teams at their best. You want clubs at their best. You want Cardiff playing Leeds at the top of the Championship in a means everything game. You know what I mean? You don't want this 2 big footballing institutions
a half
in
empty Ellen Road
turmoil.
booing their team
Yeah,
off,
you know,
which is why I
Cardiff
had
City
Thursday
fans down, Leeds United fans down.
But
you know, it's not enjoyable.
Draw a bit of
Even
a
if you
parallel.
don't like them, even if you
No,
don't like them,
exactly, don't
even
wish
if you don't
them.
like them, you want them massive not to like them.
Yeah.
Because they're
There's
like,
no point in liking them.
everything, Revy, you know,
Yeah.
when everyone hated that Leeds side
No
with
point in
Bremner
hating
and
a
that
team that's on
dirty
his knees.
Leeds. It's part of the fabric of the game, clubs like that. Brilliant.
It's like
I draw a bit. Go on.
sorry, Cardiff Swansea. I miss that fixture.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you had a brilliant seven-side derby.
when it didn't happen for so many years, it was so great having it back.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
You know, you want both clubs.
Intensified,
The last
didn't
time they played, they were both
Premier League.
at their best,
But
weren't they?
I draw similarities between Leeds and Cardiff, the two managers. Evans has gone in there, and clearly he's not wanted there.
Not
From
at
day
all,
one.
mate. Their fans are like our fans. They'll
Were all
just
those
stay
quotes
away.
real? Were all those there was those quotes about him saying, "I'll never manage there," and all
Oh,
that.
I don't know,
And then he went there. So I don't know.
It was just evident watching Thursday night, the way they were booed off. It was his first home game.
Listen, word of advice: never say never, son.
Exactly.
Yeah, because it just come back to haunt you.
And the other thing
So
is
if he did, he's killed himself.
Well, that's what I was reading on social media.
their captain, Bamba, is out. He's suspended. So he's going to miss in the game. Tom Adeyemi is out, who's also been one of their star players. Obviously, he's a Cardiff player. I mean, God, there'll never be a better time to go there and win. Having won near the last twice.
Cardiff might even score.
Well, it is again. It's a fixture that if everything's right at Cardiff, you go there and take 3 points. You're not going to get better opportunities. It's not, I find what we're doing is there's a lot of games where we could have taken advantage and got 3 points, and what we're doing is saying, but we start with a point, we come away with a point, so it's a good point away from. Yeah, great. If you want mediocrity, no problem. If you want to sit 8th, 10th, 12th in the table, not a problem. But for me, I'm just a glutton for success. I just want to
Cardiff
see
are one of the parachute payment
win,
clubs.
win. I can't help that.
I don't
That's
care
just
what
the way I
anybody
am.
says. This now is the defining moment of Cardiff's season. I don't care what anybody says. You look at that table. You look at that table now. In a proper show, they'd flash up the table. But I'm going to say, in that table now,
Don't diss the show.
people have talked. No, I love the show.
Yeah.
People have talked about
You can be
nobody's
replaced.
breaking away. Nobody's breaking away. They are breaking away right now. Derby, Hull. Who else is up there? I mean, Birmingham are up there. The suspects you'd suspect, Borough. They are breaking away there. They're 5 points clear of Cardiff now. So this is the moment when you decide it's decided for you. Which way are you going?
Listen, you got 2 months for me.
Are you going there? Are you going?
November, December. Massive.
This is it, as I say. I
Massive.
think it's even shorter than that.
Leeds
Blake,
away
Matt. I think
Tuesday,
it's
Reading on
November.
Saturday.
I think it's
Leeds away
November.
to Reading on Saturday. That Reading is a 6-pointer. If what you're saying, Stu, because they're the they're the team.
I think
possession, if you like.
suddenly it just dawned on me. Maybe I'm stupid, but it just suddenly just went. Wzoom.
Yeah.
And you looked at the team, like, hang on a minute.
Well, Leeds has to be a
This is
must
real
win.
time now. This is actually happening. These guys.
You're not losing, but you're falling
These
behind.
guys are suddenly going.
Leeds
right,
in
this is
this
what we
mess
do.
has to be a must-win.
Yeah.
Then Reading home, you can't afford to lose against Reading at home because they're the team that you're after.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
No, I just sense this is the moment now, and it's going to sit which way, wherever way Cardiff are looking. Because you could November, I think, is massive. Because you could come out of there. You could come out there in the playoffs, or you could come out in the automatic with incredible luck, but in the playoffs, or you could come out of there like.
Well, let's look at it positive. How
points
big
off the
would 6
playoffs.
points be now? Let's just turn it round and suddenly.
Oh, you're in
6
the
points
playoffs.
back. Yeah,
They need something like that. They need like a.
that could
Crikey,
spark the
they
season.
They need like a 3 win-win-win.
They need
Just
it.
to-
They
just-
do
just to-
need it. That's
they need-
definitely.
you know
That's
what I
the
mean?
beauty of the Saturday Tuesday as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
can
You
do
can go
that.
bounce. You know what I mean? But they're desperate for a good win. But
Yeah.
not a 1-0 Middlesbrough win.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't fill you confidence.
No.
You need a 4-0, ripped you apart. Could have been
Cannot.
7.
That's-
You need that kind of, or 4-1. You need a real confidence
That's
where
the
you see
worst
things
thing.
clicking.
I can't even picture
You see
that.
strikers
Blakey.
clicking, wingers clicking with forwards, midfielders making runs, clicking with.
Let's not have a lopsided team. Let's have a team that looks like.
Hey, the problem is, Blakey. The problem is, I can't even picture that in my head. Can't be rampant. You
Right,
just can't.
so
when was the last time they did that?
That'd be that's one of the main reasons why I think like the fans are just saying no, not anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not watching it
Oh,
because it's not enjoyable.
It's not
enjoyable.
There's not one. They've not won. What's their biggest win?
His first game they beat Forest 2-1, and they went for Forest that day. I don't know what it was.
Wasn't that game?
It was something about that, you know. It just happened to be his first game, and then they really went for Forest. They got 2-0 up. 2-0 up, and then conceded or whatever it was. He came away from that thinking, yeah, that was you dominated there. Well done. And Forest were at the top at the time. And since that, I can't think of one where they've done
beginner's luck.
Yeah, it seemed like that. It really did.
I don't know.
I haven't felt that atmosphere walking out with it since.
It's just weird that you say they need to go in and dominate and dismantle someone 4-0, 4-1. You just can't picture it. You can't imagine. If you fantasize,
It can happen, mate. When you least, that's the beauty of football. That's the beauty of football, isn't it?
Well, if Leeds are in the mess that everyone's saying they're in, and
Elland Road's a good place
on
to
the
go and do
evidence,
that.
they will turn on them.
They won there 4 years.
Blackburn were 2 up in 6 minutes. If Cardiff get to that position, you know the crowd will turn on them. Then anything can happen.
Especially Cardiff.
Yeah.
Because they hate the fact that Cardiff are now, punching above them.
What an opportunity. So what do you do as a manager? I mean, I guess you've got to go and attack.
Oh, mate, I go all...
Go for it.
But this is the kind of game that you play, for me, and this is why I say the tempo and your pressing, how important it is. Because this is the kind of game where you just say, right from the off, jump on them.
Basically, what Tux just said is your team talk.
Centre forward, right, you're in between. Well, if you're playing one up front, you close down the 2 centre halves. Full-backs, push on your wingers. Wingers push right onto their fullbacks. Don't give them any time. Soon as if they try and throw it out, anything like that.
Back yourselves.
Hold your back 2 and your midfielder holding, but go and get onto them. Go and really, because it's not even going to take 5 minutes for the crowd to go against them.
Yeah.
The crowd are going in there.
Especially if they're confident in their fitness level, they're confident they can sustain it.
Right, of course you can.
Which, from what the manager's saying, he's confident.
Well, do it then.
Yeah, exactly.
Do it then, because I haven't seen it yet. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you're confident, if they're top eight in the fitness stakes.
Hey,
I
let
don't
it go
get that
now.
one.
Let it go.
Go and prove it then.
Yeah. Now is the time. You say, right, we know statistically we're fitter than Leeds, so we start and we go on the front foot. We
How
press.
do you know Leeds are not in the top 8
Okay,
of the fitness thing?
they
could be like number 4 or something. We don't know.
I'm not going to say, have you seen their manager?
Oh, goodness me. I can't say that.
That's from me.
That's right.
I don't know anything about it.
Goodness me.
So, yeah, basically, go and attack. That's the thing.
If Kenwin's fit, start Kenwin.
Okay, yeah.
Mason.
Even if he's 90%
Nuninho, I don't know. I think I'd take Amiobi out.
I try and do this every week, and you always stop me halfway.
I think he's fit.
I try and get to the team. I mean, I'll go the back 4. Obviously, Fabio's out. Malone comes in, picks himself. Midfield is my big
Whittingham,
bugbear.
Gunnison, Noon,
Rawls.
Oh, Rowles. Yeah.
Yeah, we're back to the lopsided 4 again.
I don't know, mate. I really don't know.
Amiobi after starting a game like this, given.
I don't know.
Right.
Really? Really? No, really. I just look and think. Is it?
We don't get that on
Is it
Football
that?
Focus.
Is it
do
that?
you? What do you think of some of that? I don't know.
Is it that difficult, really, to pick a good, midfield? And if you've got so many midfielders and wingers, and you want to play a high tempo game, you've got people who can come on and replace and keep that tempo high.
I was going to mention him.
What's happening there? Yeah. He looked a good player last season.
Somebody was saying
Perfect player for this sort of game.
Did someone write into here last week? He was mentioned recently in dispatches, wasn't he? He was on the bench.
Right.
At Portman Road.
So he's in the thinking. Isn't he the
He's
sort of player
slowly coming into the thinking, surely.
if you need an injection of pace or trickery.
Well, that was one of the things, that was one of the things last season that he brought, didn't he? He brought that little bit of link up between.
He could play he looked to me as if he could play in that number 10 role ahead of
in the middle,
ahead of the midfield.
Yeah.
So you got options in you again.
That is fancy.
He must be chomping at the bit as well, because I spoke to him over in Holland. Sorry to go on about my Holland trip. I don't get on many holidays. I don't go on many holidays.
What's the chance you get to actually chat to somebody?
I spoke to Matt Kennedy, and he's a lovely guy, and I know he had, after coming away from Everton and it not quite working out from there, I know he had real hopes of this season, and I think you know, he was quite pleased with what he contributed at the back end of last season for Cardiff. So I think, I can only imagine, I haven't spoken to him, seen him for ages, but I would imagine he's...
Reason being why he's not been involved?
He's disappointed.
The lopsided midfield, isn't it? Because you play either Noon. Well, no, you
I'll
either
be
play
honest
Noon
with you as
or
well.
Amiobi or Pilkington.
I'll be honest
If
with you
you're
as well.
going to play one.
The signs were that decision had been made very early, like in that by pre-season. They were talked that he was going to be a peripheral.
If the manager says this is my system and I'm not going to change it, he only plays one winger. It's either Craig Noon, it's Anthony Pilkington, or it's Sammy Amiobi. They're all bigger names than him.
The problem is, Joe Rowles is almost the problem, in a sense, like his resurgence. No, because he keeps wanting to play him out wide. He wants to play him, and I don't blame him because he's been a really good player this season. But he's leading it that you can't... You want to give it like a balance. You want to say, oh, we got Pilkington, you got Noon, got Amiobi, you got...
Well, but then it's not Rowles as a problem.
No, then you want to incorporate Rowles.
Change the shape.
Because he thinks says then, if he has Rowles then, it's a lack of fight in
play a 3 and drop
change the shape.
Out, or, yeah, would...
It allows you to play midfield.
I'm not picking a side. Don't shout at me.
I couldn't agree with you,
Play a 4-3-3. It's quite easy, straightforward.
Oh, right. Well, I mean, it sounds easy for you. Look at everything's...
We're running out of time. I'll come back to predictions just in a moment. I want to mention this because it almost makes me laugh based on what we've just been talking about. The lad at Real Madrid, I don't know if you heard him, the Norwegian Martin Odegaard, they're going to send him out on loan, and his dad is on the coaching staff at Real, and he said he'd like to send him to the Championship because there's good pitches, it's a good standard of football, and you know he'd sort of grow up. He's only 16, he's coming on for 70.
His dad was not at Portman Road the other day.
Yeah,
all I can say about his dad.
He said that would be the perfect, breeding ground for him to do half a season in the Championship and then go back to Madrid and push on. He'd take one look at Cardiff surely and think, well, I wouldn't get into that midfield.
What was his dad suggesting he come here?
No, not to Cardiff as such, but to the Championship.
Right.
So you know,
he'd only have come here if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was still here. He's Norwegian.
Yeah. I mean, if
Solskjaer was still here, he'd be a shoe-in to come here.
The sort of player. I mean, it seems as though if not Cardiff, then one of their rivals
is he as good as Matt Starley?
Well, this got me thinking about that and the way Slade treated him. You know, so Odegaard would take one look at Cardiff and think, probably won't go.
I can't see him coming here.
But then, you know, this kid who's at Real Madrid could end up playing for, God, any of the champions. Yeah, a Derby or something. You know.
Well, the link is there, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course.
He's only about 12, isn't he? How old is
he?
He's
16.
16, is he?
But he wants to get fit to play in the Euros.
He's played for Norway, hasn't he?
Yeah. He will play in the Euros if he has half a season.
It's the sort of thing that
have Norway qualified?
They're in the playoffs.
It's the sort of thing that kills. What position you play?
Winger.
It's the sort of thing that kills any wingers like Pilkington or Noon or whoever's not playing at the time in your club, wherever he goes.
We're bringing in a 12-year-old to play ahead of you.
We're bringing in this kid. Watch his dummy. Pick that up for him.
He's a super. I don't know if you've ever seen him.
I want you to play a special role, Pilks, helping him with his homework.
I don't know if you've ever seen him, but he's some player.
Yeah,
he will accept this.
Yeah, I mean he's massive. Well, he's at Real Madrid.
It does come.
But you got to be able to manage that situation at the end of the day. And right now, we just need to try and manage the situation a bit better as far as what we're doing and how we're doing and the way we're going about it. I just think at the moment, I don't think, like I said, you're not losing, so it can't be it is a confidence thing, I think, but it shouldn't be a confidence thing because you're not losing. But because of the way you're performing, I don't think that the players are believing in what they're doing too strongly.
Well, so let's look. If you want to be positive on this, look, Kenwyne Jones comes back Tuesday, scores one, sets Rolls up for 2-0 win or something like that, and everybody's like, whoa,
you're away.
And everybody's like, yeah,
go into Reading full of confidence.
Yeah, well, okay, we're back on it, right? That's the ingredient we were missing then. You know, why didn't we score all those goals? Question answered. I really hope that's true. So let's in the simplest manner possible, just by bringing a bloke back in.
So shall we
off the street?
Okay.
Hey mate,
anybody?
Well, they certainly won't be bringing anyone from Real Madrid, do they? Let's be honest. We'll leave that to.
You never know.
Yeah, indeed. So anyway, let's do some predictions. Obviously, we've got 2 games between now and the next show, and
I can't predict no more.
We can't predict 2, can we? I'll go for 2. I'll go
2 biggest games of the season.
Crikey, I'll go for
9-0 Cardiff.
9-0? Where?
At Leeds.
I haven't scored 9 all season. I'm going to go for 2-0 Cardiff at Leeds. And 1-0 Cardiff at home to Reading.
Go for 6
vital, massive points in however many days it is.
I'm going to go 0-0 Leeds.
Oh, what? Again?
Well, it's just on the cards, isn't it?
What?
Both teams struggling. I'm going 0-0 Leeds.
Do you think, hang on, before you go on, do you think they take that now? You know, you always say,
Leeds?
Cardiff. Would
Leeds
you take a point, somewhere like that? Take a point before you get on the bus, yeah?
Well,
do you think they would?
When you hear the name Leeds United, you say, yeah, I'll take a point. When you look at the situation Leeds are in, then, no, you've got to take advantage of that.
Within the camp,
take 3 points.
Do you think?
I don't know, mate. That's what I'm saying. It's hard to judge. I find it incredibly hard to judge where they're at mentally, because that's what this boils down to. This game boils down to the mental aspect more than the physical. I find it really difficult because Tux has said repeatedly, the players love the manager. They are behind him. Everything's great. And I'm looking, I'm thinking, well, what's happening then? Where is this love? Because when everything's happy and rosy, trust me, in the club, you go out and you perform at the highest level. You do. You're confident, everyone's buzzing, you run through brick walls for the manager, you stand in front of a bullet for your teammate, everything's going rosy. But I don't see that on the pitch.
Let's be honest, the players, half of them at least, are on social media. They read the press, they read what the fans are saying, they hear what's being said in the stands. They're not oblivious to that.
I hope none of them watch this show, Craig. Wouldn't imagine that.
They know.
For what?
For speaking the truth.
For what? Yeah, exactly. Well, you know, what could a player come and say that I've lied about something? You've lied about something?
No, the manager's not popular.
You know what people like
a
about
fact.
criticism.
That is a fact. It's a harsh fact. You know, we might not agree with it. You know, probably for most of us, we don't agree with it. But the manager is not popular, and the players know it.
And it's constructive criticism.
And that makes things difficult.
If you decide that you want to accept constructive criticism, yeah, because I don't come on and criticise anybody for anything. I'll always say he could go and do this or that or the other or this or that. I always give solutions to any problem. So it's not about just coming on here and saying, listen, you can come on here, I could say an absolute bungle performance again against Ipswich, rubbish against Bristol City, embarrassed us, blah, blah. I could absolutely, but what you get out of that?
I'm just saying,
constructive criticism.
It must be hard for the players in the dressing room. It must have an effect when they look around and the manager says whatever he says, and they know whatever he says, and whether it's right or wrong, they know wherever he says he's going to get stick for it. You must be looking and thinking. And that's an issue. That's a problem.
So prediction.
Anyway, yeah. So you just 0-0 at Leeds. So you stuck to that.
0-0 against Reading as well.
I think
0-0 record.
0-0 at Leeds, and I think we'll struggle against Reading because they're a good footballing team, and Stevie Clark has really got them fired up. So, you know. I don't like backing against them, but I think they'll lose against Reading.
I remember watching Reading in the FA Cup semi-final against Arsenal. They took them the distance, and thinking then Reading were going to be a threat next year. Since then, they've brought in players like Bootroom, scored at the weekend. You know, they look an outfit.
Can I change my prediction? No, I'm going to say positive.
I think we'll draw 0-0. I think we'll probably lose like maybe 2-0, 2-1 at home. Maybe we'll struggle.
Well, let's hope Steve's right and not Blakey on this occasion.
I'd love to be wrong.
Join us for all the build-up to both games and all the live coverage. And we'll be back here next week. Thanks for joining us.